Hey guys, Paycheck here. Just recently hit level 100 on my Stormweaver. I was rank 22 overall on the global leaderboard. So today I wanted to post a video, show you guys how I was juicing my maps for XP and how you can do the same. Alright, so let's dive into it. Alright, so step one is going to be rolling your maps. So when buying maps, when rolling maps, there's a couple things that you're going to want to look for. The first and most important one is going to be, obviously, increased experience gain. So when I was pushing to 100, I was searching for a minimum of 30% increased XP. And then in addition to that, I was also searching for at least one mod that also increased pack size in some type of way. So I have a couple of examples here that show that off a little bit. So this one has the increased XP plus increased number of monster packs. This next one has the XP with increased magic monsters. This one has increased magic pack size, and then the last one has increased pack size and increased magic monsters. So long as I was getting the increased experience gain and one of those other mods, or one of any mod that is going to just add more monsters to the map, that's what I was looking for. Okay. So once you actually have those maps, the next step is going to be exalting them up to their maximum number of mods. And you'll see exactly why once I actually go over our Atlas tree, but we'll go ahead and exalt these up to max. Right? So they all have 6 mods. Okay? And as a bonus, look at that, we even got more magic monsters, more rare monsters, stuff like that. So good stuff. So once we have all of our maps exalted to the maximum, the next step is going to be adding delirium oil to these. Okay? So the main oil that we're going to be using is distilled gilt. So when you add distilled gilt to a map, it's going to give you 8% increased pack size per delirium oil that you add to it. So we're going to add all 3 for 24% increased pack size. And that's what we got, right? So we'll do that with this one as well. Now, occasionally I will use distilled ire. Each distilled ire adds 20% increased magic monsters. So with all 3, 60% increased magic monsters. The only way I do that is if I have a map like this, where the only real kind of beneficial mods that I'm looking for, the only bonus one that I have is magic pack size. If I have just experience gain and magic pack size and that's it, then I will use distilled ire for more magic monsters to benefit from that pack size. You can still use distilled gilt, but that's just what I was doing. But in general, it's pretty much never a wrong answer to use distilled gilt on everything. Okay. So now we have our maps exalted up. We have them with all the delirium oil. So now the final step in this process is going to be using vol orbs on them. So there's a couple of beneficial things that we can get from vol orbs. There's 3 positive things that can happen, 1 neutral, and 2 negatives. So the positive things that we're looking for, the best one is going to be adding a tier to our waystone or our map. So it will change it from a tier 15 map up to a tier 16. That is the best outcome. For other good outcomes, we have the option to switch all suffixes into prefixes. So as an example on this map, we have, cursed with enfeeble, monsters gain damage, and monsters gain all these chances to inflict ailments and stuff. So we can vol orb it, and there's a chance that all of those negative mods get turned into prefix mods, which are beneficial, and can even add additional pack size or monster packs or things like that. So that's the second good option. The final good option is adding additional mods to our map. Again, we want as many mods as possible on our map. So if it adds even more mods than is what normally possible, that's also greatly beneficial, and you'll see exactly why when I go over the Atlas tree. All right. So we're going to vol all of these, and right from the get-go, we see we got at least one negative one. So this one got downgraded to tier 14, so that one's not good. So other than that, this one got switched to all prefix mods. So now we see we got pack size, we have additional packs on the map, number of monster packs, magic monsters, rare monsters, and the XP, and we even got some bonus rarity in there. So that's a fantastic map. So that's a really good outcome. This one, exact opposite. Everything got switched into a suffix mod, so we lost the XP, so that one's kind of bricked as well. And then the last one we have here looks like no change. So we got one positive outcome, one neutral, and then two negatives. It happens. You will brick some maps. It's okay. It's very much well worth it. These maps, when I was buying them, were anywhere between 2 and 5 exalts. Now on the market, I think I was seeing them for anywhere between 5 and 10. I will add in the description below a trade filter search for you guys, so you can just click that, and that'll pull up good maps for you. All right, but that's it. That's how you roll the maps. All right. All right, so step 2 is rolling tablets. There's only 2 tablets that you're going to need: the irradiated tablets and breach tablets. For both of these tablets, the main thing that you're looking for on each of them is increased experience gain. Generally speaking, when I was buying them, I would only buy 8% increased experience and up, but it doesn't make a huge difference, so whatever you can get. Outside of that, for both of them, make sure that they actually affect either 9 or 10 maps in range. For each of them, you want as many maps to have the additional level and the additional breaches on them as possible. So I would only get 9 and 10. Again, depending on market availability, just get the most as possible, as many as you can. So other than the increased experience mod that you're looking for breach tablets, there's a couple of good mods that you can get. Basically any of them that are going to add monsters to your map or add additional breaches. So I have a few examples here. So this one is increased magic monsters in breaches, and these ones all have chance to contain an additional breach. These all do stack on top of each other. So if you use, as an example, 5 of these breach tablets that add 10% chance for an additional breach, then you're going to have 50% chance for an additional breach in that map. So there's a couple other good mods, like monster density in breaches is another good one as well. I'll put in the description a trade search that shows the ones that I would be buying. For your irradiated tablets, other than the experience gain, the only other mod that is all that useful at all is going to be chance to contain a shrine. It's not even very mandatory. That's kind of a min-max thing. So long as you have the experience gain and 9 or 10 maps irradiated, then that's good enough to run. But if you can also get a chance to contain a shrine, it can be beneficial, because there is the experience shrine. Even though it's rare, if you do find it, it's 100% increased experience for about 30 seconds. So it can be fantastic. There's also the speed shrine that's going to make you move and attack faster. And then finally, there's also the whatever the skull shrine is that gives you the chaos explosion. So it just helps you clear a lot faster. Not mandatory by any means, but that was the last thing that I was looking for on my tablets. All right, so the final step is setting up your actual Atlas tree. This is the tree that I was using on my journey to 100. It focuses primarily on pack size, with this cluster, more pack size down here, some magic monsters. But really the main important things from this tree that I wanted to touch on is this notable right here, Grueling Journey. So this node is why I said earlier we want to exalt all of our maps, and why corrupting our maps and getting additional mods on them can be very beneficial, because this node makes it so that every single mod that you have on your map makes each mod more effective. So if you have a map with 6 mods on it, as an example, then you now have 12% increased effect of all your mods, which includes the effect of your XP mod. This keystone up here, unstable energies, pretty much the same idea. So chance for either 25% more effect of prefixes or suffixes. If it hits the prefixes, then you have 25% more effect of your experience mod. And that's pretty much what all of these are going to add up to, is increasing the effect of the experience mod. So that's what this node does as well. This one is increased effect of mods for each tower affecting the map area. So that means if you have a map that is affected by 5 towers, which the more towers we get, the better, 5 towers would mean 15% increased effect of your mods. Once again, increased effect of your experience mod. The last node that I'll touch on here is Remnants of Power, chance to double the effect of the tablets that you're using. So this means that those tablets that you had earlier that have 10% experience on them and increased pack size or monster density or whatever you have, chance for double the effect. So instead of 10% increased XP, now they give 20%. So can be massive, little RNG, but feels really good when it does proc. As a small little bonus tip, you can actually allocate this node as you're putting your tablets in. And then as soon as you put all your tablets in and you use them all, you can unspec out of those and put those 2 points in this case. Take those 2 points and put them into something else. I would probably just put in more pack size if it were me. I didn't do that as I was grinding XP just because I hate respeccing. I couldn't be bothered for it. But it's an option there for you if you really wanted to min-max and get every little bit of XP that you could. So moving on from the generic Atlas tree, next we have the Breach tree. The main thing on here that you want to get first is going to be Rising Pyre, 40% increased monster density, so that's huge. Other than that, I took Crumbling Walls for a chance for additional breaches. This does combine with the tablets that you can use for additional breaches. If you get additional breaches in your maps, then that is one of the best ways to get a massive amount of XP very quickly, because if you get a well-rolled map with a ton of experience on it and you proc additional breaches on it, then I mean your experience just goes through the roof at that point. So the last node, there's 2 options. I went with Grasping Hands. This just adds more packs of magic monsters to your breaches. I like it. That's what I did. I used it the whole time. Very good. But the other option is Interdimensional Assault for even more increased density. So this node is very good, but you have to have a very fast build because it makes your breaches close 30% faster. So if you have a very fast build, like a Temporalis build where you're just blinking from left to right and all this kind of stuff, then that can work great. Go for it. That's what I would use. But barring that situation, I would go with Grasping Hands, and that's what I did. The other league trees don't make too much of a difference. That's not what we're focusing on for XP. So the next and last tree that does make any kind of a difference is going to be this boss tree here. There's only 2 nodes on here that make any kind of an impact. The first one being Beyond Reality. This has a chance for your maps that contain bosses to also contain Corruption. Corruption adds 1 level to your map, basically. So if you put a T15 map in, the area procs with a, you have a map boss and it procs the Corruption, then now you're running the equivalent of a tier 16 map. So that one, pretty solid, and the only other one that makes any difference other than that is this one here, Directed Worship. So this just makes it so that you have a shrine inside of your map boss maps. So if the map has a boss in it, then you get 1 additional shrine. And like I said earlier, those shrines can be increased XP shrines or some shrines to increase your clear speed and survivability. Not hugely important either, but it helps. So that's what I went with. So that's how I set up my whole Atlas tree. All right, so that should be all the information you guys need to start juicing your maps for some XP and farming out those levels, maybe even pushing to level 100 yourself. So other than that, I do have some additional data that I recorded when I was level 98. I was trying to keep track of how much experience I was getting from all of my maps, both the good and the bad, to see how much of a difference, level tier 15 versus tier 16 versus tier 17, tier 18, how much of a difference those things were all making for me, how much of a difference multiple breaches made, and pack size and magic pack size. I wanted to keep track of how much experience all these things were giving me. So I kept track of about 360 or so maps. I'll put a link to all that data down in the description. You guys can take a look at that if you think that would be beneficial for you. And then finally, if you guys have any questions or comments for me, feel free to either message me or leave a comment on the video. I am brand new to making videos. If this was beneficial and people actually enjoy any of this, then I'll make some more. But any feedback you guys can give, I'd greatly appreciate it. And other than that, good luck on grinding out that XP, and who knows, maybe I'll see some of you guys up on the ladder soon. Good luck.